Jana. This is Claire.
Are we going over rules or the
traditional territories first?
Hello, Mr. G. Testing. Testing. Hello, Mr. G. Hello, Mr. G. Testing.
Are we going to start soon?
Well, if there's no Sophia, then I guess these four start.
So we already told them that they
Should we just cross out Sophia?
Yep. Wait, is there a Sophia Berry here? Sophia? Is there an Emily Ricci here? Is there an Andreas? Andreas Torres here? Is Jada here?
Yeah, she's here.
Okay.
We just moved her.
Those three people are not here? Okay.
Right.
So
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, we just moved Jada up before.
Wait, is this one working?
Okay.
Oh, it is.
So
Hey,
Jada,
guys.
and I'll just tell everybody, I'll just have to follow what you do. Okay.
All my messed up too.
Are we going to start?
I guess so.
Miss Thomas. Yeah, we're good.
Wait, so it's our names?
And then
Yeah.
all right. And yours like so first off, I want to start off. Okay, so hello everyone. My name's Jana,
And I'm Claire.
and we're gonna be your MCs for the grade 9-10 spoken word this year. Woo!
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
So just to start off, we want to do what we always do to honor the people that were here before us. So today we would like to acknowledge the traditional territories, to honor the ancestors and relations that stood upon this ground before we did. We would like to acknowledge with gratitude this beautiful place where we live, work, and play, the Coast Salish Nation, all my relations.
Okay, so to start off, we're just gonna go over a few little rules. I'm sure you guys already know most of the stuff, but just a reminder, so first off, this is a safe place. Everyone's gonna come up and share their poem, so please be respectful. There's no booing or anything of the sorts. However, if something really is resonating in your soul, you can snap along, snap it out. Yeah, everyone
Do you wanna practice?
Everyone go practice, snap,
Let's go, guys.
snap.
Yes. Okay, and if something is like really, really great, do you know what you do? We go, yes,
Yes, and just
Do we want to practice, or is this just lame?
After every poem, the judges, our wonderful panel of judges, is going to hold up a score and we will read them out. I think that's mostly everything.
If the judges' scores are like not as great as you want them to be, you can be like, louder! Or not
Higher.
louder. Oh my God.
Higher! Higher! Just scream it out. Feel free. If the judges are not doing something you want them to do, share your opinion.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome. think that's it.
So we have a bit of a sacrificial poem before, just to get things started. That way we are the sacrificial lambs. And this poem is called Ode to Cleaning. We will go, and then the judges can demonstrate what they will be doing with the actual people competing over here. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Here we go. Oh, the ghastly cleaning! Must I leave every surface gleaming?
I polished a window.
I dusted to and fro.
When I vacuumed, I sucked up a sock.
I even sucked up a clock.
I clean here and there.
I seem to clean everywhere. My mom continues to give me orders.
My cleaning seems to have no borders.
It goes on, never stopping.
The amount of work is jaw-dropping.
Oh, won't you stop my pain? After all, next week I'll have to clean again. All right, so then the judges are going to confer for a second, and then they can hold up their scores. Oh. All right, so we have a 4, a 4, a 4, and a 4.
Applaud the poetry, not the
Applaud the poet, not the score. All right, so we're gonna start off with a poem from Lindsay, Hannalee, Emily, and Lily called "Life is a Bike Ride." Ready?
There it is, your first bike. You stare at it.
Wrapped in gold.
As you look at the bike beside you, you feel the eagerness growing inside you. Growing, growing.
Gone.
You can't move. Why can't you move? Why don't you have control?
It's you.
You are holding you back. You envision the pain,
The scars, the
the
bruises.
trauma that this bike may contain.
But you take off one after another, left and right. You feel the pedals and you start off right.
You glide down the hill like a plane taking flight, but what you don't understand is the trouble in sight. The pebble.
You'll never see it coming, like a friendship destroyed by a misunderstanding.
That little pebble that's very small may look like it's 10 feet tall.
Your biggest defeat, your biggest fall.
It's just a setback after all. All the chips and the scratches and the paint were just temporary.
There are solutions to problems.
The breakups and the makeups.
They're all milestones.
But you don't.
You don't let it get to you. Because that girl in your math class is just
Defeat.
She pushes and punches,
But she never gets through because the walls you have built are so much stronger than words.
She may tease, she may post,
They may laugh.
But you get on that bike.
You pedal and move on from the skid marks in the street.
You know the pain they caused you is just the pain they felt.
The anger builds up as you hold on the brakes. You pedal faster as
confidence grows.
But before you know it, the chain
Snaps.
snaps from underneath you.
So what you call golden,
Has now turned to rust.
and all you have left is metal and dust. You may crumble, you may cry, but your tears will soon dry, but you don't get defeated. Because you've promised to fly.
As the pain rolls over you, you lie by your bike.
You scream for help, but no one hears a thing.
But the face you'll hide will never show.
Just like all the bumps in the road.
You feel as if the world has closed all doors.
But you open them to prove them wrong. You show them your determination.
Ride,
Fall.
Bleed, cry,
Repeat.
ride,
Fall.
bleed, cry,
Repeat.
ride.
Fall.
bleed, cry.
Repeat. Remember the peaks.
Remember the times you laughed so hard you cried.
Remember the sleepovers and the parties.
First dates and first kisses. You believed in yourself.
So why shouldn't you now? And at last, you mastered the skill.
You conquered the negativity.
You reached the peak.
You made it.
You conquered the bully.
Fell from great heights.
You learned what's wrong and what's right. You rode your bike.
Ride.
Fall.
Bleed, cry.
Succeed.
All right, thanks you guys. Now the judges' scores. We have a 4.5, a 4.5, a 4.5, and a 4.
Yeah, come on. Applaud the poetry, not the points. I say it? Yeah. Okay. So next up, we have Daniel Lazzaroni with a rant about being short. I don't know.
The average height of a 14-year-old male is 5'4". I, on the other hand, am 4'9". In other words, the difference between me and the average male is equivalent to a 6-inch Subway sandwich. Being short, there are a lot of shortcomings, pun intended. For example, PE class, where the most popular sport is basketball. I wonder, why am I even here at all? I cannot compete with someone a foot taller than me. I might as well stand there like a tree. At least that way they might have to go around me. Seeing in crowds can also be quite hard. From drowning in the horde, I might need a lifeguard. I feel like the zombie, my movements according to others' movements, hoping I'm moving in the right direction. Being short is something I've been accustomed to ever since I was born. Being mistaken for a fourth grader is just part of my daily life. Been there, done that, no need to strife. I'm always the shortest in my class. Class photo, always on the bench off to the side. When the photo's getting set up, I already know where to go. Been there, done. It's alright though, I just take it in stride. Would you like a kid's menu? Is what I hear when I go eat. It looks like my height has got me beat. But you know what? Maybe it's not all that bad. After all, kids' menus are cheaper. I recently bought a burger from White Spot, and what I learned is you can save a lot. Starting to envy me? Just wait, you'll see. When I went to New York, I got to take transit for free. More saving money? That's fine by me. I'm so small, sometimes people give me their seat. I'll happily accept it without missing a beat. Being stuck in home
anymore. We are standing strong together, wise winners who have been whipped into shape. So when every strand of grass can find itself, can step out of its shadow, we will form that gorgeous valley that we wish we could visit before this version of our society. And it will be strong because we are the creators. And if we can build a perfect world, we will never be mowed down.
All right, judges, hold up your scores. We have a 4, a 4, a 4, and a 4.
Fire!
Applaud the poet, not the points.
So next up, we have Ara with her poem, Normal.
Normal. It looks normal. It sounds normal. It is. Normal is a weird word in a lot of ways because something normal to me is more than likely not normal to you. We go around day by day, hour by hour, saying things are normal, yet they aren't. Or are they? School, for example, everyone I'm talking to right now goes to school and we call it quite normal. Yet for those children over there, it'd be more like a portal. Some people say formal's more normal, while other people say normal's more informal. My dad has always said that he hates the word normal because it's abnormal for others. Think about that. In my house, it's normal not to eat dinner as a family, and we live quite happily. Yet for my friend over there, she thinks I'm crazy. She eats dinner with her family every night. You see, I don't get it why we use this word. I mean, it doesn't make sense. The definition makes no sense. Yet, is it typical still? We go around day by day saying everything's going super great, yet people still keep asking us, are we good, mate? I mean, that's normal, right? Others say it's more fight or flight. I do martial arts while others play with others' hearts, but I mean, it's normal to them, right? I'm not going to tell them they're wrong, but if I do, I'm considered strong. That makes no sense to me or anyone, yet we still use the word. It should be coming third, but no, before everything else, it still comes first. Normal is abnormal, but abnormal is normal. Winter is way better, you get to wear sweaters. No, I say no, summer's way better, you don't get any more newsletters. Wait, that does make sense, because it literally defines itself as typical, yet isn't really that typical. We go around, we keep going, and everyone just keeps calling it normal, yet I don't think it's normal. I don't get it why we use this word, probably just because it's easier to explain than our whole life, which is rather unheard. Personally, I think the word normal is the most abnormal word. Yes, there's a definition, but at the end of the day, it means something different to each of our own worlds.
Do you guys have the scores yet? No? Take time. It's all good. Okay, so we have a 4.5, a 4.5, a 5, and another 5. Applaud the poetry, not the points.
Okay, so next up we have Ella with October 1st, 5:45 a.m.
October 1st, 5:45 a.m. I walked into the hospital ready for the day I thought everything was going to change. I felt a pit in my stomach because this day would be the first day of the rest of my life, a life of opportunity. As I was laying on the table ready to go to sleep, my surgeon told me that everything was going to be okay, that I'm strong. And to this day, I still think about those 2 words. You're strong. 2 words that make me keep going, 2 words that make me feel that everything will be okay. When I woke up, I was alone and confused, but those are 2 feelings I am very familiar with, but this was a different kind of alone and a different kind of confusion. I was crying like I've never cried before. All I wanted was my mom to be by my side, but the nurse said no. She said that it was too dangerous. Then she started asking me all these questions that I knew the answer to, but I couldn't seem to bring myself to say the words because I was so confused. All I wanted was my mom. I felt like hours went by and I still couldn't see my mom, still couldn't stop crying, and just wanted it all to end. After what felt like forever, they finally moved me to a place where I could see my mom, and when I saw her, I just started crying again.
I just wanted to go home to a place where I felt safe and a place that I was familiar with because it felt like I had no idea where I was, which scared me more than anything in the world. It felt like I was laying in that bed forever and everyone kept coming up to me asking me if I wanted water. No, I don't want water. What I want is to sit up and stand up and walk right out of this place. This place that smells like medicine and doctors and fear. Fear that I'll never be the same again. Fear that my leg will hurt for as long as I'm alive. Fear that anything will go wrong. At 4:23 p.m., I was sitting in a wheelchair as my mom rolled me out of the hospital, and I got up for the first time. I didn't really feel anything, and I was kind of confused. And I go into the car, and everything was fine. My leg was more frozen than Antarctica for about 4 days, and after that, that's when the freezing wore off. Every time I moved, I felt a shooting pain up and down my entire leg, and it felt like it was never going to get better. Never felt like I was going to be able to move ever again. I had lost all hope that I was ever going to be okay. And now, on this day, November 29th, I have regained hope that I never thought I'd ever get back again. I can walk, I can even speed walk, and that's more than I could have ever hoped for. 58 days ago, I wouldn't have thought that I could be as happy as I am right now. And now every single little problem I have seems like nothing as extreme as what I was feeling 58 days ago. These 58 days have been the hardest days of my entire life, and I still think of those two words every time I feel hopeless, every time I feel beaten down. You're strong. You can do this. Everything will be okay. All right, judges, we have a 4, a 4, a 4, and a 4. Applaud the poet, not the points.
So next up, oh gosh, this is really loud. We have Alana with her poem, I'm a Blonde.
Dear gingies, brunettes, and black-haired people, I'm a blonde. Not a dumb blonde. Just because only 2% of the world is naturally blonde doesn't mean blondes are dumb. Good for you if you think you're so much smarter with your darker hair. Fact, color doesn't affect the mind. The only thing that's been proven is that blondes have more fun. But don't quote me on that, my mind's overrun. Behind on sleep, I keep counting sheep. I speak what's on my mind so I don't fall behind. I'm not dim-witted, I read between the lines. I'm sorry that I ask questions that don't make sense. In my defense, my mind's complex. I'm not going to refine myself for you or for those who stand against me. You make me feel like an intoxication of my imagination. Why is it that I can't make a mistake without someone saying, don't worry, you're a blonde? As if that's supposed to mean something to me, click into my mind and say, oh yeah, I'm a dumb blonde. No, that's offensive. I don't want that attention. If a person with darker hair said something stupid, it would be followed by laughter. Not a name that's stereotypical, basically describing a person as brainless and beautiful. Why is it that this society gives me anxiety, a name that comes off with laughter, yet it makes me feel like a disaster? I can't put my hand up without feeling self-conscious. The gossip's obnoxious, I feel rather nauseous. The other day, someone told me only girls can be called a dumb blonde. Not only offensive, it's now rather sexist. Apparently, I'm in a world of perfectionists. No flaws or intentions to change the way people think. Before even blinking, it's almost like we're sinking. Down into the depths of our roots, no change is what we suit, but it's sad. Wishful thinking that it's gonna change, the names and the games, hoping that this won't go down in flames. I want you to remember this. Know that it's hurt more than one and it's not really fun. But the sun will always rise, the moon will always fall, and I will always repeat to myself, I'm a blonde, and that's all.
Judges. All right, so we have a 4.5, a 4.5, a 5, and a 5. Applaud the poetry, not the points.
Next up, we have Carol and Callista with their poem, Broken Friendships.
I remember.
Every summer, we used to go down to your cabin.
We'd go down to the lake and laugh hysterically as we splash each other with ice-cold water.
We'd sit by the campfire and roast marshmallows until they were as golden as the sun setting behind us.
We loved to exchange secrets, the ones we weren't allowed to spill, but I knew the one person I could trust was you.
I could tell you anything and you wouldn't mind, like the time when Jessica cheated on Jason with Chad.
Or when I had a crush on this guy who I thought was totally rad. We grew up together.
You and I were like sisters. We shared lots of the same memories, the good times and the bad, if we were happy or sad.
We got through it together no matter the weather. Although, even the strongest of relations can be destroyed.
The sunshine above us soon turned into gray clouds, which led to a crack of thunder. Then the black rain showered over us. You're not there anymore. My dearest friend, I hate to say this, but this is our end.
What can I say about what I've done? I miss the laughs we shared, how we had fun. Now we don't talk. We're complete strangers. How did our problems become this major? I was too blind to ever see how much you really did care for me. I threw it away and it hurt you deeply. I cry inside thinking how it could be. You didn't deserve the way it ended. Because of all this, I wish I was dead. I should have found another way.
Maybe we could still kick it and not be away. I called you my sister and meant every word. Now part of my soul is gone. Feels like my heart was cut by a sword. The weather is hot, but the blood is cold.
What she didn't know is that all through this, I had to push through too, because I may not have bullied my best friend, but watching her get bullied by my new and so-called friends hurt every piece of me. Every day I wanted to tell her how sorry I was and how much I missed her. But these girls I cannot disband or else I will be bullied too. I can only pray you understand. Old friend, I miss you, and it hurts me what these girls are doing to you.
So I ran home and cried because each day passing by, I feel more and more worthless because of your new friend's merciless actions. Those actions tear my soul and stab my heart, but I guess you wouldn't know because you're not the same, sweetheart. Old friend, how have you strayed so far? Do you not know what you are, what you become? These girls, they're not good influences.
If only I'd stopped and knocked on your door. If only I'd known you couldn't take anymore. If only I'd been there. If only I'd called. If I'd not been so busy and once again stalled. Why didn't I see then the pain in your eyes and know that you felt so alone and despised? Why didn't I hear the hurt in your voice and know you were about to make your last choice?
I watch you walk away from me and the tears start to fall. I ask myself a million times, how did we lose it all? For the first time, I had no words that to you I could say. I cling to old memories and I watch you walk away. I just don't want to let you go. I couldn't bear the torture I prayed would stop so long ago. But I just can't stick around for this puppet show.
I knew I lost her. Watching her get hurt, I had wronged her. All those memories were shattered. Our dreams of growing old together didn't matter.
I cry myself to sleep at night, but I'll never let it show. Once an ally, now a foe.
Now it's time for me to let go.
All right, and our scores, we have a 4.5, a 4.5, a 5, and a 5.
Applaud the poetry, not the points. So next we have Seth with his mumble rap.
Our generation's music takes no effort to create. Mumble rappers may have ice on their chest, but others have talent flowing from every breath. To impersonate Lil Yachty, all you have to do is wake up from a bad sleep, moan into the mic, slap some good old autotune on, and hope it turns out. To recreate the Migos music doesn't take skills. They sound like they're high on pills. Their terrible music gives me the chills. Everyone's trying to copy Lil Wayne now. Lil Pump, Lil Xan, and Lil Uzi. And don't get me started. Lil Sky's songs have no rhyme and no chime to them. All these rappers are lyrical grime. Eminem has lyrical rhyme. All these mumblers are a waste of my time. Snoop Dogg is a favorite of mine. Want to listen to Lil Xan's? No, I'd rather eat an entire lime. Tekashi 6ix9ine, he's not even trying. For his crap, I wouldn't give a dime. Good music has flow to it. Their music has mold growing from it. A lot of ghostwriters, they use it, but they don't just use them, they abuse them, and worst of all, they choose them. Eminem don't rap from ghosts, he only raps what he wrote. I wrote the spoken word in an hour, and it's better than all this pop star trash. Good rappers spit out lyrics in a flash. That's why I listen to Ski Mask. What happened to all the good music, you may ask? It's hidden below all this trash. Why do all the pop stars get all the cash? It's my head I wanna bash. All this pop and mumble rap, it's trash. But it's your playlist, so you choose it. But if you pick mumble, I'll lose it. All this mumble makes me grumble, and if you have a brain, please use it.
Judges, are you ready? So we got a 4 all the way across the board. Applaud the poetry, not the points. So just wanted to check in with you guys. How are we liking the spoken word thing so far? Yeah? Woo! No, that wasn't very hype, guys. All right, so next up we have, give me a hot minute. We have oh my God, okay. Aurora with her poem, Self-Worth.
I am so sorry. I harbor these ugly scars. They paint my skin in torn rags. They sprawl across me like tags, predicting my worth as worthless, as if I'm worth less than the rest of you. I constantly push myself so far down, maybe I might just drown, and I don't know what to do. This all just makes me a burden, and while your sticks and stones may tear my soul, your words like knives heal my heart and rattle through my bones. So please don't go, don't let me down, and I can't help but constantly doubt myself over and over again, thinking you will put me down, thinking you'll be swept away by the sea, by someone who's so much greater than me. I really, I always feel like I'm sinking so far down. You're my only light, my only sun, and I'm still sinking. Tied down by this feeling you give me, these shackles just won't leave me be, and I'm still sinking. I simply can't shake it. The salt water fills my heart and mind, and all I see is you. You're so warm while I'm so cold, and I have to admit this is really getting old. So the cycle of constant doubt and insecurity, and honestly sometimes I really try to break free, but then I see your smile and I realize you were always worth that extra mile, and I realize you, and the cycle repeats. I am sinking again and again, and each time I hit rock bottom, you're there to pick me up once more and drop me. I really want off this roller coaster ride. It goes up and down, even upside down. My stomach is tumbling and turning, and you're laughing. Seriously laughing, so I guess I'm just a joke to you. Or maybe this is actually fun. I don't know anymore. These whirlwinds of thoughts in my heart and my mind make it impossible for me to leave you behind, and I think over and over again, I don't know what to do. Then I realize you are now a part of me, something I can never part with. Even if I wanted to, I realize I never could, and I rationalize that I really don't deserve you. You are so incredible. I wonder every day why you stick around, why you seem to think I'm so amazing. And I always thought I might be bad. Now I'm seriously sure it's true, since I think you're so good and I am literally nothing like you. So I really, really don't deserve you. And please know that I am trying. Know that I am just dying to be worth something real to you, the same way you were worth so much to me. So please save your pity. Because surely since it's you, I would hang my head in shame that I was not capable of making myself worth more instead of worthless of your time, worth less than the rest of you, and I knew I was dreaming when you said to whatever end.
Judges. Right, so we have a 3.5, a 3.5, a 3.5, and a 3.5. Applaud the poetry, not the points. Yeah.
All right, so next up we have Gabby and Abby with their poem, Society.
to waste time, but to use it with our precision. It is time to redefine
Happiness seems to be overrated and outdated, but we are too complicated.
people are really trusted. But after all, they were the ones who took out the knife and stabbed us in the back.
We were disgusted.
Welcome to real life. You do not need to laugh.
Trust.
I messed up. Was veering uncontrollably, just like a busy driver on a busy highway.
A highway we call home. My place of comfort. I opened the door drenched in tears. I put all my effort into overcoming my fears. I open up to her. Her face showed a sin. The first words to spill out of her mouth are, I understand. Mom, hear me out. You were a kid once. You're right. But that was 30 years ago. Social media was unheard of. All you received was love. These days you are deprived of affection and provided with depression. That privilege is as easy as a click of a button. Send. I won't tell anyone.
What are you going to do with it?
Post it.
Don't. We will find out.
I'll do it anonymously. Don't worry about it.
This doesn't feel right.
No.
That's all we had to say. Instead, we fell victim of society. We betrayed our own identity. All for what?
Approval. Pathetic what we are brainwashed to do. Is it all for ourselves or is it all for you? We let ourselves down. We failed. But did we really? Every day we avoid reality. We are robbed of our sanity because it's all a fantasy. Find in an 88-inch HD TV captured in a metal brick we keep in our pocket. The metal brick we crave so much is the only thing that cannot provide us with the thing that is fundamental, emotion. If we show it, we are considered cowards. Anxiety has been stripped of its meaning. Now it's just a word people say to be noticed. But everyone is too focused on what he will think, what she will think, what they will think. Has reality hit you yet? Clearly it hasn't, because we are too oblivious to the hideous world we say we didn't create. But how did we get here in the first place? Blame it on your ancestors, whatever lets you sleep at night. However, we are at fault. So can we go back to make a new decision, but to this time make it with our precision? We need to redefine more than happiness. We need to redefine society.
All right, judges, your scores. So we have a 4, a 4.5, a 4, and a 4. Applaud the poet, not the points.
So we have one last poem for this block, and it's, oh my God, Maddox with his poem about stress and anxiety.
I'm so nervous. Nervous? You should be scared. Trembling! You should be calm and relaxed. It's only for a short period of time. Maybe the longest 2 minutes of your life. You're dead, little man. Stop it! You're scaring him. That's the point, isn't it? No, it's not. Of course it is. That's why I'm here. No, yes. No, guys, stop! I can't take this anymore. You may be wondering, what the heck is going on with this guy? Anxiety, stress is the cause of all of this. Has a very bad effect on some people, you know? Not me. Shh, don't talk about this. I had a bunch of homework one night. I was so stressed, and I mean stressed. I was crying all over the place. I was nervous, scared. I think I spent more time crying than I did doing my homework. I didn't eat dinner at all that night. I was just so focused on homework. In middle school, I literally had like 2 pages of homework for my entire 3 years. Okay, maybe a little bit more, but you see my point, and now I'm up here getting loads of homework every single night. No wonder I might feel stressed. Back to my homework. Just thinking about it gets me stressed. The pit of my stomach knots. Where was I? Oh yeah, crying. I'm never gonna get my homework done.
I'll just skip school and do it tomorrow. No, you're doing your homework, mister. Because if you don't do your homework, then you're never going to get into the habit of doing it, and then you're not going to get a good grade, then you're going to fail, then you're going to drop out, then comes homelessness, and then... Most of the time you will need help coping with your stress, whether it is your parents, friends, teachers, or doctors. But just know there's always help, besides the angel and devil that sit on your shoulder. After about 3 hours of crying and 2 hours of homework, I finally finished my homework. Then went to bed at 1 a.m. Am I done yet? Yes, I think so. Really? Sweet! Never doubted you for a second. Yeah, okay, whatever you say.
Okay, I know. I realize. All right. So we have a 5, a 5, a 5, and a 5. I'd say applaud the poetry, not the points, but let's applaud both.
Wow. That was a great way to end. So that was an amazing poem to end our C block. We wanted to thank you guys all for coming and supporting our amazing poets. Let's give them all a big round of applause.
Woo! Yeah, that's it. You guys can go back to class now. Thanks for joining us.
Omi. Oh my goodness, Annabelle. You look so fabulous. M. Make sure you get there on time. I. If you like it, buy it in all colors. For me, Omi is more than a word for my German grandma, because the best gifts in life come in the form of a person or an experience. In my case, this was my Omi. She didn't come with a big bow or shiny wrapping paper like most gifts. My Omi came with a big smile, a giant heart, open arms, and always on time. She was a tree, branches stretched out so far, protecting the whole forest, and her roots firmly planted on the ground. A heart made of pure gold so big, everyone she knew could fit. A friend to all, even with the pharmacists, they were laughs. She told me I was fabulous and gave me the confidence I needed. She taught me that black goes with everything and to always eat your dessert first. There was never a dull day spent with my fabulous Omi, and she lived every day like it was her last. My Omi was the sun. She shined bright during the day, and at night she was among the stars. But even stars eventually fade. She was a strong, confident, independent woman, but nothing gold can stay. The evil man, known in medical terms as a stroke, hit her and my family like a rock. He paralyzed her, making it impossible for her to walk and to use her left arm. The evil man could take away her independence, but he could not take away her fabulousness. As my Omi collapsed that night, so did my and my family's hope for the future. But when my Omi got back up, she showed us the light, and by example, we knew it would be okay. Like an eagle, she soared, even on those windy days. My Omi suffered the war, the loss of a child, and everything in between, which you would never know, because she was always happy. My Omi was able to see the good in everything and everyone. Positivity was her middle name, and as her first name is my middle name, I strive to be just like her every single day. My Omi didn't come with a big bow or shiny wrapping paper, but she was a gift.
All right, judges, you ready? So we got a 4.5, a 5, a 5, and another 5. Applaud the poetry, not the points.
Okay, so next up we have Aaron with why koalas are the most unappealing creatures.
Koalas are cute and pretty cool animals, right? No, they're terrible. Koalas are some of the most moronic marsupials in the world. All they do for most of the day is sleep and eat. A reason why koalas are psychologically handicapped is because of the lack of gyri and sulci in their brain, basically making their brain smooth. The gyri and sulci are the folds that make up the brain and allow for more surface area, which increases the neuron capacity of the brain. Due to their incapability to have basic thought, they can starve to death if their food isn't presented on a branch. Their inability to recognize food can make them die from starvation, even if they were surrounded by eucalyptus leaves. Eucalyptus leaves are basically toxic, but koalas still decided to eat them and kept eating them until they developed the resistance to eucalyptus leaves. As eucalyptus leaves have basically zero nutritional value, they need to ferment the leaves in their stomach. They rely on the microbes in their gut to help them digest the food and provide at least some nutrition from the fermentation process. As they rely on the microbes in their gut to ferment the eucalyptus leaves, and baby koalas' intestines are sterile, baby koalas would need to obtain the required gut flora. They do this by consuming the pap of their parents, which is just feces that is softer and contains more microorganisms required to digest their favorite toxic plant. Koalas only eat leaves, and to properly digest leaves, they need to grind the leaves. As most people would guess, this leads to tooth decay, which is a large problem when you're eating leaves your entire life. As most animals that grow through teeth wear like this have continually growing teeth to combat tooth wear, but koalas don't. Once koalas' teeth disintegrate, they can no longer break down leaves. They settle this problem by starving to death. These are some of the reasons why the koala population has been decimated, but another big one is chlamydia. Some koala populations have up to a 100% infection rate. A reason for this high infection rate is because they're children, also called Joes. And okay. Even though there are antibiotics for this disease, a koala still wouldn't be able to make much use of antibiotics because it would mess up their gut flora. And then they wouldn't be able to digest their toxic, succulent eucalyptus leaves. Although there is so much wrong with koalas, they have one good thing going for them. Their brain is surrounded by more than a normal amount of cerebrospinal fluid, which acts as a helmet for them so they don't damage the little amount of intelligence they have. Whoa, such a good...
All right, judges, when you're ready, your scores. Okay, we have a 3.5, a 3.5, a 3.5, and another 3.5. Applaud the poet, not the point.
So next up, we have Lauren and Maya with their poem, Dear Creator of My Bad Day.
Dear creator of my bad days, I know you already have lots of experience with making sure I have the worst days, but I just wanted to give you some advice.
Because I think you could do better.
The following steps will guarantee a dreadful day for anyone.
Make sure I get less than 4 hours of sleep that night because it is crucial that I wake up tired, ruining my day and putting me in a
Bad mood. This will create a fog of misery that will rub off on everyone I come in contact with.
Now, this step is essential.
It will set the rest of my day off in a domino effect, causing extreme panic. It is highly important that I have homework due in A block.
That I was unaware of.
This will rocket my anxiety and stress levels through the roof, causing me to become a ticking time bomb.
Now that I'm about to explode and can shatter the hopes of all my classmates, please proceed to eliminate my one joy.
Food. Before I get to school, make sure that when I open my glorious fridge, I am not encountered with scrumptious delicacies, but instead the following rations: pickle juice, mayonnaise, and of course, the fuzzy green slice of bread shielded by mold. Once I arrive in your utopia, also known as school,
it needs to be guaranteed that at 12 o'clock when I enter the Zoom-like cafeteria, hoping to eat something other than the contents of my fridge,
I look in the front pouch of my bag in horror.
There lies 5 cents, which can afford me
nada. This is the one element of my day that will annoy my entire school as they hear the grumbling on my stomach echoing throughout the halls, probably causing an earthquake.
Wow.
What a day.
After my vacant meal, I will enter my C block class to open my 2010 50-pound Boxtel computer to be stared in the face with the one and only shameful symbol, that bleeping...
Sorry, your battery's in eco mode. Like, are you kidding me? It was plugged in, or did you maybe make sure that the cord was visible but not plugged into the wall?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
At this point in my day, it is time to go cry in a bathroom stall. But just my luck, they're reconstructing them today.
So, they're out of order.
My last hope, pull out my phone. Maybe that will ignite a spark left in my dark, cold, and soggy body. But instead, I see 12%, 23 missed calls, and 403 texts saying, I left the freaking fridge open. Ugh.
Wonder who distracted me to do that. Maybe my...
aggressively starved stomach? From this point on, I'd give you a B+ for your efforts, but there sure is a lot of progress to be made.
But wow.
What a day.
The last and final piece of advice I'm going to give.
After this, you are on your own.
I'm at the point in my day where I'm heading to D block.
Ah, PE. A nice game of bench ball will definitely ameliorate my mood.
Yet when I pass by the two PE doors, I see
my worst nightmare.
There's a line of square, stench-filled, royal blue mats lining the gym floors, waiting to absorb
yet another gallon of sweat. To pair with that bitterness, I glance around the room to see what may appear to anyone as four-corner soccer, but in reality is 26 laps in 12 minutes. Moist, murderous laps, just to get an A.
Wow.
What a day. And it could be worse, but I think the tremendously tragic examples I gave will assure your success.
Oh wait, but when I finally leave school to catch the bus I know I will miss, and you do what?
Make it poor?
Really?
Was that necessary to amplify my already straight hair into an afro that engulfs my face? Jeez, I was just trying to help. No need to take it out on me.
Wow.
What a day. The worst day ever. Love your victims.
Judges. So we got a 5, a 5, a 5, and another 5. Oh my gosh.
So next up we have Asia with a love letter to the boy on the bus.
To the boy on the bus. You came into my life at probably the worst time possible. I was in no position to love another person because you see, my mind was an ongoing war between hating myself and staying alive, diving into my own ocean of fear and confusion without learning to swim, choked by the crashing waves of uncertainty of the next day. I was unable to function with these thoughts in my head, my only comfort being my bed. I used sleep as my escape. My body was a slave to my own mind, kept captive from love by anxiety and self-doubt. My days were defined by these thoughts. These thoughts constantly taunted me, haunting my soul every day, exhausting my body from the world around me. I sat at the back of the bus, watching the doors close until you ran in late, confused and tired. Our eyes met and you smiled to the boy on the bus. You found excuses to talk to me, and I found excuses to pass you in the hallways. These interactions were my distractions from my pain. As time went on, the school halls became home of our little talks and giggles, small gestures and mixed signals. Our head nods became 2 a.m. conversations, our undenying relations. Love was a foreign concept for so long, but how could this go wrong, my mind? When I said my mind was an ongoing battle between hating myself and staying alive, you said you'd go with me to the war. When I told you I was diving into my own ocean of fear and confusion without learning to swim, you came back with a lifeboat. I explained that I was unable to function with these thoughts in my head. My only comfort was my bed. You said, sleep with me and I'll keep you company. When I said my body was a slave to my own mind, kept captive from love by anxiety and self-doubt, you handed me the key. I exclaimed that my days were defined by these thoughts, and you said, let me replace them with memories. To the boy on the bus, your arms around me, secure, pushed me closer, pure. Your arms were my home, but may I not get comfortable, because one day they will be there, and one day they will not. I await the day my home will be destroyed by my own self-doubting thoughts and insecurities that I've subconsciously subscribed myself to. But when I said these things, you pulled me closer, wrapped your arms around me a little tighter, and held on a little longer, reassurance. You became a permanent solution to my temporary problem. You stuck with me, although I doubted you and all your love. You were there for me when I couldn't be there for myself. To the boy on the bus, you taught me love. And with this love, I learned it was okay. It was okay to trust myself in the arms of others. All of this uncovered by what you gave to me. I learned that through pain, that with love, it will be okay. To the boy on the bus.
All right, judges, your score. All right, we have a 4.5, a 4.5, a 4.5, and another 4.5. Give it up for the poet, not the points.
So next up, we have Clayton with his poem, Little Rock.
I'm sorry, I used you to my advantage. My greed will lead to your soon death. Eventually, you'll breathe your final breath. Nothing will be left. I'm sorry, I feel great sorrow because I know there might be no tomorrow. I borrowed and eventually stole. Stole your beauty, stole your blue, stole your trust. The more I steal, the more the waves roar, the more that you get warm, the more you storm. But I can't blame you, for you are the victim. I've polluted your system, killed your ambition to grow. I'm sorry, you have given me so much, but I've taken much more. The inspiration and the habitation you have given me to the frustration and the radiation. At insane speed, where's my morality, my sanity, my humanity? I know you want to be freed from the slavery I chained you in, and you're growing so very thin, and I know I'm the blackheads of your skin, but if you can hold in just a bit longer, you may become stronger. It might be a dream, it may never become reality, only if I change my spirituality and remove my ignorance so I can make a difference. Answer to your cancer, from life to a knife pointed at your throat. I'm sorry. All the nations are like bears in hibernation, and a lot of information has been spreaded on the situation, but for some reason I'm still standing still. I'm sorry. I'm more concerned about my device than you. If you're brown, I'll just move somewhere else. I thicken the air, but is it really fair? I'm sorry, Low Rock. You might be the only living planet in this universe, but I can't find a way to reverse my...
All right. So we got a 4, a 4, a 4, and another.
We have Spencer with his poem, The Time I Killed a Raccoon.
Rabid raccoon in the coop, savaging your livestock. The overcast day, approximately 6:30 p.m. in the year 2015. I was calmly and peacefully driving our John Deere Gator around the farm property as any normal person would, ready to close up. But the sounds of squawks and quawks caught my attention through the fencing on the side of the coop. I saw the perpetrator. A waste of space, greedy, no good, mangy raccoon. Did it have rabies? Probably. Would I get rabies if I got to be bit? Probably. Let's go. As quick as lightning, I sprung from the machine and swung open the door of the coop, shovel in hand. When I was young at our old house, we had chickens in our backyard, and a raccoon had already killed one of our own in the year 2011. Approximately. This time it was payback. So like any normal person, I charged, shovel in hand. The raccoon hissed at me and lowered itself to the ground, ready to pounce. It made a biting motion, but I slammed my shovel on its head. Continuing the assault, it hobbled/ran to the exit, chickens flying and screeching all around as I chased aggressively. I slammed the door behind me as we met on the muddy pathway. It turned around when it realized it couldn't escape, and it hobbled towards me. I kept beating it with my shovel until the raccoon looked like Campbell's soup made like a drunken Martha Stewart. I proceeded by throwing the body in the bushes. Although we did lose 3 chickens, the rest of the 40 remained unharmed, but a little traumatized by my heroic efforts. I calmly put the gator machine away in the sawdust room, cleaned my shovel of any diseases I might have contracted, and went home. Never be afraid to act in the moment. It might save a few chickens.
All right, judges, your scores. We have a 4.5, a 4.5, a 5, and a 5. Applaud the poet, not the points.
All right. So next up, we have Olivia with her poem, 7 Wonders.
How is it possible that circles with stems written on 5 lines can move us, make us cry, make us human? 7 little notes written as flats or sharps in the form of chords and scales combined in an infinite number of ways. A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. The 7 wonders of the musical world. These notes can be strummed or hummed, plucked or played, maybe into the famous Pachelbel's canon. As it floats through the air, the beautiful bride glides down the aisle. The sound of I-do's and excited giggles make a music of their own resounding in the air. The sound of a bugle as the cannons fire transports us to a place of gratitude for a fallen soldier. As the excitement rises, the lights start to dim. The undeniable they're lost in the music that brought them together, a song that lasts forever and ever. Music has the power to change us, into someone we're not, or maybe into the person that we've always wanted to be. It can make us time travel, back to the time of lazy summer days, the time of firsts. First dances, first kisses, first dates, and first wishes. Being packed in the back of your car with the bestest of friends. Singing on the top of your lungs until your mouth runs dry, pushing your cares out the window, and letting them get lost in the wind wishing by, because being lost in the melody is always the best remedy. The skates slash the ice as the tensions rise, but then silence. The first notes of the national anthem start to play as hatred and rivalry are swept away. Our arms spread out, looking for one another, as our hearts become one. The true north, strong and free. Music can mold moods, when a broken heart smashed like glass for even just a moment or move us to the brink of tears. Music has no color. It has no gender, no boundaries, no borders. Music unites us. As a band steps out onto the stage, it is not thousands and thousands of voices that we hear, but all of them tangled into one. So let the band play on. Say out your favorite song.
You guys ready? Okay. So we've got a 4.5, a 4.5, a 5, and a 5. Applaud the poetry, not the points. Yeah, I messed that up, guys.
Okay, so next we have Mason with his poem Face to Face.
Can we agree that speech bubbles are monstrous weapons and phone screens are things we used to hide behind? I've had times when the swords are even coated with poison and stung me day after day. I pounded and roared in tears, hoping the shield would stop its brutal assault on me. I can't take this. People who use their phones as a way to break apart, people who have messed up, people who can respond with, none of your friends like you. We're all mad at you. We're better without you. To your question, what did I do? They fill your head with lies that you know aren't true, but for some reason, that's all you can believe. What? Tell me, please. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt her. How do I fix this? It was difficult to type back. Our DMs were a toxic wasteland. Each second I stayed there, I grew weaker. The light inside me was starting to burn out. The lies she was telling me filled me with intense emotions. I remember shaking on my bed, my friend slipping away from me, my teeth rattling. Her voice echoes in my head. If you cared, you would know. If you cared, you would know. My cries grow louder each time I let one out. The saltiness of my tears rushed down my cheek and none of my taste buds. My eyes locked in the is typing icon at the bottom left of my screen. With each paragraph, I lose myself. I feel like nothing. I'm alone, and I have nobody. Everyone will find out. No one will ever speak to me. I am something to be disgusted by. She was the almighty being that possessed all this power, simply because she could hide behind a screen. Ignore what I say. Take me down piece by piece, all because of her indestructible shield. I remember walking down the halls being terrified that my friends wouldn't be there for me, trembling in my seat, that she was going to spread this to everyone. I remember making eye contact with her through the class that divided our classrooms. I resist the urge to start flooding my eyes with tears, but throughout the whole day, not a single word out of her mouth. How? After everything she said, she acts like the whole thing was a dream. Going home was a time I despised. The insults, avoiding my questions, no effort in trying to resolve anything. She wanted the power over me, and she had my limbs tied to strings, and she made me dance. Her goal was to only make me feel like an abandoned dog after a move. My friends, who I thought as a family, left me behind. Why won't you listen? I beg for forgiveness. I beg and I beg. My knees scarred from kneeling on the ground and repeating, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt anyone. And she stood there, silent. Sure, she could see my text popping up on my screen, but she couldn't hear me. Hear the sorrow in my voice and how much I want this to be resolved. Hear all this torture. Hear me scream out in pain as her puppet strings still attached rip me apart. She couldn't hear me. Her shield was too big and powerful. Each bang on the shield faded to a tap, and each shout I let out went unheard, like a whisper in a windstorm. Oh, but I swear, if this were to go down differently, if she had the courage to say all these things to my face, her power would fade away. No more hiding, no more ignoring. I have no problem taking it face to face. Your insults and ignorance are weak compared to my facial expression and body language. In person, I am the puppeteer and she is the puppet, but I will make her hurt like I did. I want answers, and my tone of voice eradicate your now flimsy sword and annihilate your now weak and cracked shield. Next time you feel like you can use your phone to torment me day after day, I'll simply say it to my face.
All right, judges. All right, so we have a 4.5, a 4.5, a 4.5, and another 4.5. Give it up for the poet, not the points.
So next up, we have Carmen with her poem, Life Lessons.
At age 4, I learned that happy endings only exist in fairy tales. 50% of marriages are proven to fail. I learned how to swim through the unknown at age 5. No water wings for this girl, but instead a head-first dive age 6. I learned how to ride my first bike, and my brother told me to act a little more ladylike, so from then on I chewed with my mouth open just to push his buttons. Age 7, I fell in love with all 5 of the games, running from one sport to the other just because it lit that flame. Age 8, my sister decided she hated me.
I told her it was a lack of a frontal lobe that made her common sense flee. Age 9 and 10, Santa didn't visit my door. I wondered if I was even on his nice list anymore. Age 11 was another pool, but this time I was swimming through the crowded halls of my middle school. Age 12 and 13, my sister and brother both left the nest. They expressed it was time they started their own quest, and I was jealous. Age 14 was a year full of heartbreak and hard decisions, leaving everlasting incisions on the ones I love most. A toast to a new year. And here I am at age 15. I've turned with many moments that have shaped me and lessons I've learned. Here to tell my 4-year-old self that everything happens for a reason. Seasons change, but with each one comes new beauty. It isn't your duty to hide your weakness. Wear those water wings. In fact, the world is filled with such horrible things. They act as your armor. Let it protect you, but don't hide behind it. No, never let a boy tell you what to do. You are strong-willed and filled with determination. Life is your creation, so do with it what you so please. But make sure that whatever it is, it lights that same flame inside you and pushes you to be your best self. I can't help what other people think of you, including your sister, but one day you will miss her, and maybe when your frontal lobe grows in two, she may just see life through the same lens as you. Now, Santa and his reindeer may no longer leave presents under your tree, but never stop believing, because hope is key. Leave it under your doormat, and maybe you'll see that hope is all that you need. Now, the crowded hallways are just temporary, so I wouldn't worry too much, but unclutch yourself from that textbook, or else you might miss out on some of life's most important lessons. Live life in the moment and love the ones nearby, and don't worry with little ones. Soon you will spread your wings and learn to fly high above with infinite possibility. But remember, it is not your responsibility nor a capability to please everyone. So do what is best for you, and your loved ones will learn to accept it, but don't expect it to be easy. So here I am, and age 15 I've turned, with many moments that have shaped me and lessons I've learned.
All right, judges. So we got a 4.5, a 4.5, a 5, and a 5. Applaud the poetry, not the points.
Okay, so next up we have Myra with her poem, It's Over.
There's empty spaces on my walls where your pictures used to hang, our pictures. 3 years old, sitting on your lap with a smile on my face, because I knew, however many scrapes and bruises I got from the playground, that you would never hurt me. 5 years old now, parents divorced, but it still didn't hurt, because on Father's Day, I gave you that homemade frame with a picture of us inside, and you said you loved it. 8 years old, hiking, bike riding, and watching movies. You made time to make me smile. Time ticked away, I guess I took it for granted, but can you blame me for thinking it would last forever? My protector, my idol, my hero. And out of all the things in this world that could hurt and break me inside, you were never on that list. Life is hard, he said to me, but you'll get through it. Neither of us expected the hard things in my life to come from you and the good things to blossom from the seeds of your mistakes. She did so much for you, but of course that came for a price. Felt embedded to stay with her because she was the only one that held out her hand and gave me advice, says my dad. But did no one reach out their hand, or did you just refuse to realize that there were other people out there? You picked her because you thought you had an easy escape, but every time you tried to breathe, she was always there to remind you that you were her world, and you had no right to be her pollution. Too many years later, she broke your heart and you broke hers. It's over. You collected your things and moved out. The woman who caused me so much pain and suffering is gone from my life forever. We went to Starbucks, and you broke down to me the way I always did to you. The man sitting in front of me turned into a little boy, right before my eyes. The thing that had been floating in the air forever had finally got breathed in, absorbed. Then you did something so rare for me, a unicorn would be shocked. You apologized. You said that you were sorry for hurting me and letting others hurt me too. You admitted that you were blinded and realized now that I tried to guide you out of the dark so many times, but your shackles were stuck to the wall and your mind was made. You admitted that you let her treat me so poorly and that you treated me the same. You admitted that she was no good for you and that she's clinically insane. You'll always be my #1 girl, sunshine, like you used to call me. And you and I, he said, were finally free. Even though she made us spend some time apart, we talked and talked like we were never apart, like naming something by heart. He was so excited to hear that I found someone I'm infatuated with and that school is going well. It's weird to think of our relationship if it was running and never fell. And I guess I'm a fool for letting you back in, but you're like a little kitty pound puppy. Let's let your second story begin.
Okay, judges, whenever you're ready. Okay, so we have a 4, a 4.5, a 4.5, and another 4.5. Give it up for the poet, not the point.
Okay, so lastly, for this block, we have Kelsey, Ella, Dee Dee with their poem, High School Stereotypes.
Jenna, where should we move this? Where should we move this?
Queen Bee, the jock. Each known as the core of high school, all part of different crafts.
Passing each other every day with nothing more than a glance. Never thinking about our lives beyond our labels.
I check my never-ending comments on Instagram and spend hours fixing my hair. I apply a thick layer of makeup to conceal every hidden imperfection and prepare for my dramatic, fashionably late entrance to school. I check my reflection one last time, reapply my mascara, and head out the door. I'm ready.
I'm ready. This is the moment I've been waiting for. With my basketball in hand, I head out to the cheering crowd. They begin to chant my name and the referee blows the whistle. The basketball is secure with every dream. This is my chance. This is my chance. The numbers and calculations race through my mind as the timer counts down. 3, 2, 1. The blaring buzzer sounds and time is up. I present my answer to the judges and receive a standing ovation. Awards are passed and smiles are shared. I've done it. I've won. This is how we are perceived.
When I enter the school, everybody plays a path.
An unsaid rule for high school royalty.
Wannabes long for my seemingly perfect life with everything painted nail. What I always forget is that there's more than just an expensive car and beautiful blonde curls. I am more than just popular.
I walk down the hall as others cheer me on. My teammates pat me on the back for shooting the winning hoop. All they see is a basketball game and a trophy. They forget that my life isn't confined to sports. I'm more than just athletic. I come to school early to study for my test. Holding my textbooks in hand, other students glare at me as I quickly walk down the halls. Their judgment is too obvious to ignore. They only see me as a brain and a calculator instead of a person. I am more than just smart.
We are more than just stereotypes. I should be defined as more than just smart. I should be recognized for who I am. I'm confident and self-assured. I keep my head held high and I love myself despite my imperfections. I shouldn't have to hide my passion for playing soccer and being part of a team simply because it doesn't follow
High school's rules. I choose to break this label. I should be defined as more than just athletic. I work hard not only on the court but in the classroom, spending countless hours after practice, studying for tests and fine-tuning essays. I may not achieve the best grades, but I should be recognized for my effort, not only in sports but in academics too. I choose to break this label. I should be defined as more than just smart. I'm kind and friendly. I may not have a lot of friends at school, but I have made lifelong friends through tutoring. They accept me for who I am, and they don't care about my social status. They remind me to be proud of my accomplishments and the person I have become. I choose to break this label.
We choose to break these labels that restrict who we are. To stop in the hallways and have a conversation with one another.
To be the leaders of this movement and encourage others to do the same. To eliminate stereotypes and prove
That it doesn't matter whether we're
the queen bee, the jock, or the nerd. Because being a goofy, witty, and exuberant selves is too amazing to put a label on.
Oh. So we got a 5, a 5, a 5, and another 5. Okay, so this year, in recognition of the First People's principles of learning, and because everyone loves to hear a good story, we have some English teachers that have offered a new option for spoken word, and it's oral storytelling. So basically, students could tell a story from their life, their culture, or even their family. It must have an introduction, a rising action, and a climax to have a good, strong purpose.
So Spencer's poem about the raccoon was a really good example of a storytelling type of poem. And so while the judges are figuring out their scores for the finals, we're going to have Mike come up and tell us the story from his life in Korea and how he got his name. So, Mike.
So, before starting, do you know what a bird dream is? No, I think no. In Korea, there's a type of dream called bird dream. It is a little bit different from a normal dream, but it's a dream that happens before pregnancy or during early pregnancy. People think it can predict about the baby's destiny. I also had a bird dream about me. It was dreamed by my grandfather. In his dream, he saw on a mountain a small pavilion. The boss of the Hyundai company and the president of Korea at the time were sitting in the pavilion playing Chinese chess with each other. As they playing Chinese chess, suddenly from the forest behind my grandfather came out a brave tiger and it moved around the pavilion. Then he stand in front of the stairs of the pavilion. And then one of the boss of the Hyundai company and the president said, as he moved the warrior piece, soon a great warrior will be born. After hearing this, my grandfather asked them, who is this warrior? But they didn't answer. Finally, my grandfather woke up. 2 days later, my mom didn't feel good, so she went to the hospital. Then she received the result that she's pregnant with a boy. After receiving this news, my mom called her in-laws. Only then, my grandfather realized that he had a birth dream. That's why my Korean name is Tae-hun. Tae means greatest, and Hun means achievement. In other words, my name contained the hope that I will become a man of great achievement. My grandfather named me when I was born, based on the comments he heard in my first dream. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike, for sharing your story. So, judges, do we have results? Do we have results? We don't yet? Oh. Ms. Thomason? Okay. Oh, that's Claire's department.
What?
How have you guys liked all the poems? Yeah. Woo!
Do I tell a joke?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh my gosh.
So Claire's going to do
God.
some jokes for us.
I'm really bad at this. Please do not blame me. I don't even know a joke now.
Oh, look at that. We have the
thank God.
results just in time.
So grade 9s. So, in first place, we have Maddox. Did anyone hear what I said? No? Okay, I was trying to be like super intense. Okay, it's Maddox. And in second place, we have Ara.
All right.
No. She's not here right now?
Aura's not here right now, so.
But we will, yeah. Good time.
For grade 10s, we have a tie for first place. So for first place, we have Lauren and Maya, and Kelsey, Ella, and Dee Dee. Okay, and then second/third place, because they're somewhere in the middle, because it's tied for first place, is Annabelle. Okay. All right. So thank you everyone for coming. We really appreciate everyone coming and supporting our wonderful poets.
Sorry, if you're in English in this block, can you please stay and help us put away the chairs? And we just want to say thank you to the judges for taking up your time. Thank you very much, judges. No, actually, so it was just going to go to Annabelle. I'm going to give it to Annabelle because Kelsey, Ellen, and Dee don't care. None of them care.